Okay, so hi, my name is Eva Villalba, and I will be presenting on Los Perros Mágicos del Volcán, Magic Dogs of the Volcanoes, by Manlio Argueta. How do you want to say Archuleta?
Me too.
Okay, so Manlio Argueta is actually Salvadorian, and he was born November 24th, 1935 in San Miguel, San Salvador. He is a poet, a novelist, and he is a Salvadorian University professor. So after writing all his works, he became a professor. He is still alive to this day. He lives in Salvador. And one of his books he wrote, which is One Day of Life, actually has an award, Casa de las Americas Prize in 1977. Yeah. And for that book, he was exiled from San Salvador. The Civil War in Salvador was from 1980, lasted about 12 years, I think.
Wow.
And during that war, he wrote this book before, and it was pre-war, so it was very political. And because of this book, he was exiled for a few years, and that's when he went to Costa Rica, ended up teaching for 21 years, back and forth. And this book, which is caused him to leave Salvador, has been translated for over 12 languages. It's very political and I started reading it, it's really good. It's just, I didn't want to present it because I wouldn't finish on time. And he's a member of El Salvador's Generation Comprometida. And his inspiration was his mom. And what he thinks about children and poetry is really interesting because he says, so he refers to his childhood. I want to say that it's a product of institutions that might seem unexplainable, but it has an explanation, which is weird because he's contradicting. And childhood is a homeland of poetry, which is interesting to think because that's when you learn everything and you're embedded in culture. I think it's really interesting that he thought of that. Okay, so I really like this book because it has a bunch of pictures in it, and when I first saw it, I thought it was going to be a kid's book. When I read it, I realized it's not a kid's book. It's very political, and as I read through it, the main characters was the Cadejos, and basically they're these wolves that are spirits, and they protect the people of town. And when I read this book for like the third time, because I knew there was more than just wolves, volcanoes, and people, I realized that what was going on is that these wealthy people came into this town, and they were more worried about creating an economy than worrying about the land. So what happened was that the Cadejos were being blamed for the people being lazy because the people didn't want to work for the rich people. So they wanted to go up to the mountain, destroy the land, and capture the Cadejos. Cadejos?
Yeah.
Okay, I keep saying like feel it like I'm saying it wrong, but I don't think I am. But they planned to take them, kidnap them, and take them away so people would be hardworking and follow the rules of the landowners. It's not a kid's book. So the characters are the Cadejos, which are these wolves, and the townspeople. And there's another picture.
I think this picture says a lot more than that one, but I couldn't find it.
Oh, no, it doesn't work.
Yes.
So right here, these are the Cadejos, and these are the workers. And they're working in the field, right? And it's a really, really sunny day. And this is the landowner that's in charge of it. They're being lazy, but it's because of the work. You can clearly see that the Cadejos are protecting them from being yelled at and being pushed around.
Like he's suffering from the sun,
Yeah,
right?
and they're protecting him.
By telling him to go into the shade.
Yeah. And then this picture right here is the wealthy people. Okay. And then townspeople. Okay. And Don Tonio and his 13 brothers are actually the people that own the land, or they think they own the land. And they're the ones that want to kidnap and terrorize the land itself. And Volcano Tecapa is the girl volcano. the way to describe her is that all the parts of the land that's on her is her dress. And her hat is made out of flowers. And then Volcano, oh my god, I can't pronounce that, Chaparrastique. That's the male volcano. And the soldiers. So during the story at the end, the rich, wealthy people of the land, they send in soldiers that they train to destroy the volcanoes and the Gallegos. So how I interpreted this book was that they were being pushed around, and the Gallegos were the person that were spiritually connected to them, and the land, if the land was destroyed, the people wouldn't work because they felt it in their heart, like in that story. We read it, it's about, she was so connected, the movie, Ultima,
Oh,
when Ultima was harmed because of the owl.
yeah.
That's what I thought, I connected it to that because they're so connected to the land that they're spiritually connected to them, that when the Gallegos were being terrorized, they fell down. And they protected it, the earth protected them from the sun, the work, and everything. And then the bosses blamed the Gallegos. Okay, so this is a quote. Okay, so the Gallegos bewitch the people and make them crazy. Don Toño said one day to his 13 brothers, and Don Toño's brothers answered, yes, it is true. The people don't work hard for us anymore. They want to eat when they are hungry and drink water when they are thirsty, and rest in the shade when the sun is hot. And it's all because of the Gallegos, when in reality they're human needs. So it wasn't because they were being lazy. And then during the interview, this is what they said before the interview. So during the interview, what they said about him was, so it said about Argueta, broadly understood as modes of Africana thought, those ontological preoccupations that are projects advancing an understanding of Black intellectual history as one based on liberation and human agency. The theoretical framework manifested through the complexities that arise from a humanity that are denied can easily extend to Argueta. His allegorical novels blend philosophical inquiries with poetic vigor. The questions identified and raised in their narratives, vice versa, issues of freedom, agony, liberation, responsibility ascend to the level of praxis. So I was like, whoa, all that from this little book. Very deep. So the interesting facts about him is that he still lives there, and he's a member of El Salvador's National University. He's a director of art culture in El Salvador's National University after being exiled, and he's still a member of that group. Salvador's Generation Comprometida. And another committee where there's a lot of Salvadorian writers that were banned from Salvador during the war, and they're all on one page. And I think he's the only one that's alive at the moment. And then this one. I found this really interesting because my mom is from Salvador and she lived during this war. So what I found interesting was this timeline, because he was exiled at the beginning of this war, but his book was published So he predicted what was going on from what was going on around him. He realized what was going on. So when he wrote about it, it made the government go like, no, this can't happen. They banned the book and they banned him from Salvador. And this continued until, it didn't continue in 2002, but everything was resolved in 2002 after this war.